All right, let's dive into another deep dive. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to be looking at daily routines in English, of course, but we're using a podcast episode as our source material.
Interesting. Very meta. I like it. So we're using an Englishlearning podcast to learn English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really practical because we could look at the vocabulary and phrases they're using.
Sort of a behind-the-scenes look.
Yeah. And then we can share those with our listeners so they can talk about their days, no matter what their English level is.
Love it. Give us the lowdown on this podcast.
Okay. So the podcast is hosted by Sophia and James, and they both, get this, they both loved English class growing up.
Haha. No way. And now they're teaching it through a podcast.
Yep. Full circle moment.
Crazy how life works out sometimes.
I know, right? So the episode we're looking at is all about describing daily routines. They both detail their routines from morning till night.
Okay, let's start with the mornings then. Are they early birds or night owls?
Well, James is up first at 6:30, and then Sophia wakes up around 7.
Okay, not too shabby. So what do they do when they first wake up? Hit the snooze button, maybe?
Not these two. Both of them prioritize healthy habits right away. James stretches to get his body moving, while Sophia makes her bed.
Wow, very disciplined. I admire that. It's so easy to just want to lie in bed for a few more minutes.
Yeah, some mornings I wish I had their willpower. Then they both head to the bathroom for, the morning essentials.
Brushing their teeth, splashing water on their faces. The usual.
Exactly. But here's where they differ a bit. James is a morning shower person, while Sophia sometimes showers at night.
That makes sense. It's all about personal preference, right? Find what works best for you.
Exactly. There's no one right way to have a morning routine.
So what's next on their agendas?
Breakfast, of course, the most important meal of the day, some say.
Absolutely. So what are James and Sophia fueling up on?
James keeps it simple. Toast with butter and a cup of coffee.
A classic. Can't go wrong with that. What about Sophia?
Sophia has cereal with milk and fruit. A classic combo, quick and easy.
Makes sense, especially if they're both trying to get out the door on time.
Speaking of getting out the door, let's talk about their commutes. James drives to work, and it's about a 30-minute commute.
Okay, that's a decent chunk of time. Hopefully traffic isn't too bad. What about Sophia?
She takes the bus, which is only about 20 minutes.
Not bad at all.
And get this, she uses that time to either listen to music or read.
Now, that's what I call maximizing your time, turning a commute into something enjoyable.
I know, right? I should try that sometime. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through my
What's
phone.
that in there?
Okay, so they both arrived at work. What's first on the agenda?
Emails, meetings, the usual 9 to 5 grind, I suppose.
You got it. Both James and Sophia start their day by checking emails and then making to-do lists.
Smart. Staying organized is key to a productive day.
For sure. Now, James often has meetings with his team throughout the day, discussing projects, brainstorming ideas, that kind of thing.
That sounds pretty standard for a lot of workplaces. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Exactly. Sophia has meetings too, just not every day. Sometimes she focuses on individual projects or helps out her colleagues.
So a mix of collaborative and independent work. Nice.
And it's interesting. The podcast then talks about school routines.
A little blast from the past. I wonder if they'll share any embarrassing school stories.
Who knows? But James starts by talking about morning assembly and then attending various classes. His favorite subject, by the way, was science.
I bet he was that kid who always aced the science fair.
Probably. And after a few classes, it was time for recess.
Recess. The highlight of the school day. I remember those days fondly.
Right. Such carefree times. James would play games with his friends, sometimes chat, sometimes just grab a quick snack.
The simple things, right? What about Sophia? Did she mention what she did during recess?
She didn't go into detail, but I'm sure she had her own fun too.
I thought she was the queen of the playground.
Maybe. After recess, it was lunchtime. James was a brown bagger. He preferred to bring his lunch from home.
That's great. Saves money and you're eating.
Exactly. I used to love packing my own lunch.
Me too. It was like a little ritual, carefully choosing what treats to include.
I know. Okay, so after lunch, James had more classes, and sometimes he even participated in extracurricular activities.
I wonder what he was into. Sports? Music? Drama club?
Well, he mentions playing soccer, which makes sense, right? He seems like a team player.
Definitely. What about Sophia? Any extracurriculars for her?
She was part of the drama club. It fits her personality, don't you think?
Totally. I bet she was a star on stage.
So now it's the end of the day, and both James and Sophia are heading home. First things first.
Changing into comfy clothes. I know that's always at the top of my why list after a long day.
Exactly. They both prioritize comfort, which I can totally relate to.
It's like shedding the weight of the day and embracing relaxation mode.
Love that. And then their routines start to diverge a bit.
How so?
Well, James catches up on personal emails and messages while having a snack. He's got to stay connected, Sophia, on the other hand, prefers to unwind by watching TV or listening to music.
Two very different approaches to de-stressing.
Right. One's all about staying informed, while the other's about escapism. What's your go-to unwinding activity?
It depends on the day, really. Sometimes it's a good book. Sometimes it's catching up with friends. Sometimes it's just zoning out in front of the TV. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Absolutely. Now let's talk dinner.
Ooh, my favorite topic. Are they foodies? Do they order takeout? Spill the beans?
Well, both James and Sophia usually cook at home.
Okay, so they're home chefs. What kind of dishes do they whip up?
James tends to keep things simple. Pasta, salads, grilled chicken, quick and easy meals.
Practical and efficient, just like him. What about Sophia?
She's more adventurous in the kitchen. She enjoys experimenting with stir fries, soups, baked dishes. It sounds like she really enjoys the process of cooking.
It's almost an art form for her, isn't it? Using food as a creative outlet.
Totally.
Yep.
But, they're not averse to eating out every now and then.
Oh, of course. Sometimes you just crave that restaurant experience, the atmosphere, the different flavors, the social aspect.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace. So after dinner, if the weather's nice, James likes to go for a walk.
A little evening stroll, perfect for digestion, A&D, clearing the mind.
Right. Sophia sometimes joins him, but she also enjoys walking her dog.
Oh, that's sweet. Getting in some exercise and bonding time with her furry friend.
Exactly. But, if it's raining or cold, James stays in and reads. And get this, he loves mystery novels.
Interesting. He seems like a nonfiction kind of guy, always seeking knowledge and order. Maybe he enjoys the challenge of solving the puzzle, figuring out who'd done it.
Maybe. Sophia's a bookworm too, but she prefers romance novels.
Makes sense. She seems to value connection and happy endings.
As bedtime approaches, they both, of course, do the whole nighttime routine.
Brushing, flossing, washing their faces. All those good habits.
Exactly. Sophia likes to tidy up a bit before bed, putting things away, just to start the next day with a clean slate.
I can relate to that. A little bit of order can go a long way in creating a sense of calm.
Then Sophia reads or listens to calming music before bed, and James meditates.
Creating that peaceful ambience for a restful night's sleep. Very wise.
I know, right? And finally, lights out for both of them.
Ready to recharge and face a new day.
Exactly.
So we've covered their weekdays. Pretty packed routines, right?
Yeah, they definitely keep busy, but they also make time for fun and relaxation, especially on the weekends.
Oh, good. I was wondering about that. Everyone needs a break from the daily grind. So tell me, how do James and Sophia spend their Saturdays?
Well, they both enjoy sleeping in a bit on Saturdays, which is pretty relatable, don't you think?
Absolutely. Weekends are made for catching up on sleep. So what do they do after they finally drag themselves out of bed?
James starts his Saturday with a special breakfast, pancakes or omelets, something a little more indulgent than his usual toast and butter.
Treating himself. A nice way to kick off the weekend. What about Sophia?
Sophia also has a special Saturday breakfast, usually scrambled eggs, toast, and bacon.
Sounds delicious. A good hearty breakfast to fuel a day of weekend activities.
After breakfast, James heads to the gym for a workout.
Okay, so he's definitely committed to his fitness routine.
He is. And Sophia, she usually spends her mornings reading or catching up on some of her favorite TV shows.
A nice relaxing start to the day.
Exactly. Then in the afternoon, they both run errands. The usual grocery shopping, picking up dry cleaning, going to the bank, things like that.
Those essential but not always so thrilling tasks. Part of adulting, right?
Unfortunately, yes. But they also make time for their hobbies. Sophia, for example, enjoys painting and gardening.
How lovely. Those sound like such relaxing and creative outlets.
They are. And James, well, he plays the guitar.
Oh, cool. Does he play in a band or just for fun?
The podcast doesn't say, but I'm picturing him jamming out in his living room, maybe even writing his own songs.
I like that image. A little musical therapy to unwind after a busy week.
Saturday evenings are a bit different for them. James usually goes out, maybe he tries a new restaurant, catches a movie, or goes to a concert.
Sounds like he enjoys the social scene.
He does. Sophia, on the other hand, sometimes has game nights or movie nights with friends.
So she enjoys a mix of socializing and staying in.
Exactly. But she also sometimes just enjoys cooking a nice meal and watching TV at home.
nothing wrong with a cozy night in. Sometimes that's exactly what you need.
Right. And then Sunday rolls around and it's back to a more relaxed pace. They both start with a leisurely breakfast, nothing too fancy. And then they both like to plan out their upcoming week, make lists, schedule appointments, that kind of thing.
Getting a head start on the week, I admire their organization.
Me too. I should probably take a page out of their book. They also, like most of us, do chores on Sundays. Laundry, cleaning, the usual.
Not so fun but necessary tasks. Can't avoid them forever.
And then they finally get to relax. James might read, watch TV, or go for a walk if the weather's nice.
Enjoying those last few hours of freedom before the work week begins again.
And Sophia, well, she usually spends her Sunday afternoons working on her hobbies or just chilling out at home.
Sounds like the perfect way to end the weekend, recharged and ready to tackle whatever the week throws their way.
Now, the podcast also touched upon how James and Sophia celebrate special events.
Ooh, I'm all ears. Do they go all out? Are they more low-key? Give me the scoop.
Okay, so for birthdays, James usually has a party with friends and family. Pretty standard, right? But his family has this cute tradition of making handmade birthday cards.
Aw, that's adorable. It's those personal touches that make celebrations so special.
Sophia prefers to have dinner parties for her birthdays.
That's lovely too. Intimate and meaningful. Do they mention any other special events?
Weddings. James recently went to his cousin's wedding. It's a garden wedding with a reception afterward.
Ooh, sounds fancy. I bet he had a blast. Weddings are always such joyous occasions. Did Sophia attend any weddings?
She did. One of her friends had a traditional wedding with all the cultural rituals.
I bet that was fascinating. It's always interesting to experience different cultural traditions.
Of course, they mentioned holidays too.
Naturally. So which holidays did they celebrate? Any favorites?
James's favorite holiday is Independence Day. He usually celebrates with a barbecue and fireworks. The classic American celebration.
Sounds festive. Lots of food, fun, and fireworks. What about Sophia? What's her favorite holiday?
She loves New Year's Eve. Usually she goes to a party, counts down to midnight with friends, and makes resolutions for the new year.
The promise of a fresh start. It's a time for reflection and setting new goals.
They also mention festivals they enjoy attending. James likes to go to a music festival that happens in his city every summer, with various bands and artists performing.
Okay, so he's a music lover. I wonder what kind of music he's into.
Sophia enjoys food festivals. She specifically mentions a seafood festival that takes place near the beach.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. I love a good food festival, all those different flavors and cuisines to try.
And of course, they talked about family gatherings.
I was wondering when that would come up. Family is such an important part of most people's lives. So what did they share about their family gatherings?
Well, James's family has big reunions every summer.
A chance for everyone to reconnect and catch up. Must be a lot of fun. What about Sophia's family?
Sophia's family usually gathers during the winter holidays.
Makes sense. A time for togetherness and warmth during the colder months. It's fascinating how their family gatherings happen during opposite seasons, isn't it?
It is. And it makes you think, about those cultural differences and traditions. It really makes you think about how those little details, like when a family gets together, can reveal so much about their traditions and background.
It's those subtle cultural differences that make exploring routines so fascinating, right? We get these glimpses into how other people live and celebrate.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, what are those specific traditions that make James and Sophia's gatherings unique?
Right. Does James's family have a signature dish everyone looks forward to at their summer reunions? That one dish that just screams summer and family fun.
Ooh, I bet they do. Maybe his aunt's famous potato salad or his grandma's secret recipe barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Those recipes that have been passed down through generations.
But what about Sophia's family? Maybe they have a special game they play every Christmas, something that brings everyone together, young and old.
Yeah, like a silly gift exchange or a trivia game about family history. I can just imagine everyone huddled around the fireplace, laughing and making memories.
It's heartwarming to think about those traditions that create such a strong sense of connection and belonging.
It is.
Yeah.
But, as we've been diving into these routines, I've had this thought, it's great to hear about how James and Sophia have these seemingly perfect lives, right?
Yeah, they seem to have it all figured out. A good work-life balance, time for hobbies, close relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that we're only seeing a tiny slice of their lives.
The curated version, right? The highlight reel.
Exactly. We're not seeing the behind-the-scenes struggles, the days when their routines go haywire, the moments of self-doubt.
Yeah, everyone has those moments, no matter how picture-perfect their lives might appear.
it's a good reminder to, not compare ourselves to others too much. We all have our own journeys with their unique challenges and triumphs.
Absolutely. It's about focusing on creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful for ourselves, not trying to replicate someone else's.
Okay, but while we're talking about the unseen parts of their lives, what about those smaller celebrations? The ones that don't make it into the podcast.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this. The everyday moments of joy, the little wins that deserve to be celebrated.
Exactly. Like, we know James is all about efficiency and productivity, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he celebrates a successful work week with a Friday night pizza and movie night.
Makes sense. Rewarding himself for a job well done. And pizza's always a good idea, right?
Always. Or maybe he finishes a challenging project and treats himself to a celebratory drink at his favorite bar, just a little moment of me time to acknowledge his accomplishment.
I like that. A little self-care ritual. And what about Sophia? How do you think Shadi celebrates those little wins?
Well, she's creative and loves nature, so maybe she celebrates the first blooms of spring with a picnic in the park.
That's so Sophia. Surrounded by beauty and enjoying the simple pleasures of life.
Or maybe she bakes a delicious treat to share with friends, just because.
Yeah.
Turning an ordinary day into something special.
It's those little acts of kindness and generosity that can really brighten someone's day.
It really is. And it's amazing. We started this deep dive wanting to help you learn how to describe your routine in English, but we've uncovered so much more.
It's true. We've gone way beyond just vocabulary and grammar. We've delved into the hearts and minds of these two individuals.
Exactly. And we've discovered that routines are more than just a list of activities. They're a reflection of our values, our priorities, our personalities.
It's like we've been on this incredible journey, piecing together their lives and gaining a deeper understanding of what makes them tick.
And I think that's the most valuable lesson we can take away from this.
Absolutely. Routines are a window into who we are, both for ourselves and for others.
So listener, tell us, what stood out to you the most? Did anything surprise you? Did you find any similarities between James and Sophia's routines and your own?
And most importantly, now that you've heard them describe their days, what are the unique things about your daily routine?
What brings you joy? What challenges do you face? What makes your story worth telling?
We encourage you to embrace those details, find the beauty in the everyday, and share your experiences with the world.
Because everyone's story matters. So keep practicing your English, keep exploring, and keep those conversations going.
And until next time, keep diving deep into the fascinating world of language and culture.